Due to spring break travel and spring festival season, APH is still recommending wearing masks indoors, especially when social distancing is not possible, at least through March 20th. And why is that? Well, there are lots of out-of-towners that will be coming from places with higher levels of community spread. And our hospitality industry plays an important role in our community, and it's been hit hard by the pandemic. Many employees in the industry work to provide for multi-generational households, which may include people who are at increased risk of experiencing severe symptoms of COVID-19. The CDC has updated metrics and offered a caveat for communities dealing with unique circumstances. And our unique circumstances include Austin is one of those international travel destinations, and we now have spring break and the spring festival season upon us. So, in short, if you're not up to date with your COVID vaccines, now's the time. The vaccine is safe and effective, and we thank South by Southwest for supporting this messaging and leading our event season off with a bang. And I'll turn this over now to Police Chief Chacon.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm glad for a number of things. The fact that we've got our South by Southwest Festival going again, the fact that we're doing it as safely as possible, and I'm here to talk about what the Austin Police Department is going to be doing to help that. I'm glad that we're taking a moment to discuss the importance of this, because it isn't just about us, the police department, it's about our community. I want everyone to be able to enjoy all the great things that South by Southwest has to offer, but to do so in a responsible manner. APD is committed to an environment of safety, but we need the community's assistance to make sure that it stays that way. We will be working with our public safety partners, including the special events teams at the Transportation Department, Fire, EMS, Building Safety, all in advance of the permitting that is done for every event for South by Southwest. We plan and coordinate safety measures, including review and approval of site plans, ingress and egress, barricades, fire safety, and importantly, crowd control in advance to make sure that we have safe events. Additionally, for large events like this one, we activate a central command center where our teams are in constant communication with the event organizers so that we can proactively mitigate and respond to incidents if they arise. I want to go over a few areas of safety that we will be concentrating on as a police department, and also talking about what I'm going to be asking from the public. So let's start with barricading downtown. We will be having a number of street closures in the downtown area, and these will be indicated by physical barriers. The majority of street closures will begin at about 12 o'clock noon every day, and will be going on a daily basis until very early in the morning. These road closures obviously will affect traffic flow in and around downtown. There will be interactive maps that are available to all of the participants of South by Southwest on many of the mapping features that are on your phone, as well as the South by Southwest application, which you can download. We will have additional officers in vehicles that are assigned specifically to downtown traffic management, and the traffic division will be assisting and coordinating with the police department to move traffic out of downtown during rush hours in an expedient way. Our overall message to the public and what we're asking: please be patient. Obviously, the flow, both of vehicular and pedestrian traffic in the downtown area, will be very heavy. Do not enter blocked intersections and kind of add to those issues. We encourage the public to use public transportation, including bicycles. Know where your ride-share pickup and drop-off points are, and these are located on the South by Southwest application. If you have a problem and it's an emergency, call 911. If it's not an emergency, call 311. Pedestrians, obviously, will be very heavy in the downtown area, so if you're in a vehicle, please be looking very actively for the pedestrians that are walking. They may not be following all of the directions and the signs and walking in the middle of the street and so forth. For those that are on foot, we're asking, please follow the directions of those pedestrian control devices and the signals, as well as officers that will be out there helping to manage pedestrian traffic. We will have officers at some intersections helping with that. With regard to parking, many of the familiar and regular parking locations have been displaced because of South by Southwest. I'm telling you now that no parking in tollway zones will be enforced. And many residential areas in the downtown area will require special permitting to be able to park or face towing. So once again, I'm going to go back and say, please use our public transportation, including bicycles, to get in and out of downtown. When it comes to alcohol consumption, TABC, or the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission, as well as APD, will have enforcement teams that will be actively looking for minors in possession of alcohol and persons that are intoxicated to the point that they're a danger to themselves. So we're asking, please drink responsibly, please have a plan to get home safely, and take care of yourselves. We will be running a no refusal initiative for driving while intoxicated beginning on March 11th, and that will run for the duration of the festival. The hours in those are from 10 p.m. till 5 a.m. And we will have additional officers that will be staffed for DWI enforcement. I want to talk about two of the criminal areas that we will be highly focused on, beginning with human trafficking. Human trafficking is real, and unfortunately, during major events, traffickers take advantage of this type of situation. I'm going to ask for people to please visit the Texas Attorney General's website on human trafficking. We will provide that website. It will be available to identify what the signs of human trafficking look like. We will have officers that will be concentrated on that as well. And secondly, we, the city of Austin, like other big cities, have not been immune to gun violence. So we will have teams that will be conducting proactive criminal investigations related to people carrying guns illegally or committing violent crimes using firearms. They will be targeting individuals, again, illegally carrying, to intervene prior to those weapons being used to commit acts of gun violence, hopefully disrupt that in the downtown area, particularly during the festival, and improving the safety and overall perception of safety so that people not only are safe but feel safe while they're here in our city enjoying this wonderful time. At this time, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Director Spiller with the Austin Transportation Department. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Well, welcome everyone, and thank you for coming today. We are all so excited about South by, but a few mobility discussion points to point out. You know, if you live here, you know that traffic has just about returned to pre-pandemic levels. It's actually about 85–90% of pre-pandemic traffic levels. I will say that that traffic is following different patterns, but if you work in the downtown area, you know that it's starting to get congested in terms of our normal commute pathways to downtown. And so we're asking people, even with the excitement about the city opening up again in South by, to choose not to drive, if possible, to downtown. For if you own a business or you work downtown, please consider teleworking, using an alternate mode, transit. Capital Metro will be active throughout the event, as well as Chief Chacon mentioned bicycles. We encourage you to ride bicycles, improve your health. It's an awesome time to get back on the street and walk, use scooters or whatever. We will ask you, as Chief Chacon said, that there'll be many streets cut off or blocked by barricade, that if you're using one of these devices, please get off of your device as you enter a blocked area and walk it through that area. There'll be many pedestrians on the street, and we want to make sure that they have a safe experience as well. Event goers can use interactive maps that outline Cap Metro stops where they're located, but also Metro bike stations, also provides information about the availability of scooters and so forth. And again, we'd ask people to park those devices, those mobile devices, appropriately in the painted boxes that we put out on the street close to where the barricades will be, so that those don't clutter our streets and make it difficult to walk around. If you're attending the festival and you're having a drink, as again Chief Chacon mentioned, safety is our #1 concern. Please have a plan before you come. If you do find that you've driven, or you and your friends have driven downtown, and that you have taken in too much alcohol, we would ask you to leave your car parked. It is better to take the chance that your car is going to get a ticket. We actually have an amnesty program the next morning if you found that you've had to leave your car to make a good decision and take a different route home, Capital Metro or a taxi or a TNC. We will take care of that ticket for you with some just basic proof that you got a ticket and you need to take care of that. But please, safety is our #1 request. In terms of traffic, we will have trained traffic engineers as well as other senior traffic experienced folks watching the signals and watching the streets in assistance to Austin Police Department. We actually do modify signal control on a minute-by-minute basis as we see congestion happening and try to reroute folks around. We do try to give preferential treatment to transit to help it through this very congested area. As you can imagine, transit vehicles can carry more people than private cars, and so we do assist it. But really fundamental to that is we need to make room on our streets. We need to have those people that live here try to use a different mode or stay away from downtown in terms of business. But please, that's just to make room for the retail and service folks who need to get into downtown on a regular basis or on a specific time limit to conduct our business and welcome our guests. I invite Austinites to come to town. There's lots to see, even if you're outside the official South by Southwest gated area. There's lots of things to do. I know the restaurants and businesses downtown will appreciate that. One other item about travel, I know many Austinites also leave town during South by, and if you're going by way of Austin Bergstrom International Airport, on behalf of our airport director, Jackie Yaft, I will tell you, make sure you have a reservation and a plan to get through the airport, because the airport, like our roadways, are back to pre-pandemic levels, and so you need to plan ahead. And then the last point that I would reiterate is no parking means no parking. Commercial means commercial loading zone. We will be strictly assisting ATD and strictly enforcing the towing and no parking zones. Again, we can't have a festival if commercial businesses can't get in, unload, and get out efficiently. And so those will be strictly enforced to make sure that we are getting moves through appropriately, as well as handicap parking. Please make sure that if you are coming to downtown that you're adhering by the parking regulations. We will be making sure in coordination with Austin Police Department that those are adhered to. With that, I would turn it over to the Deputy Director of Capital Metro, Dottie Watson.
Good morning. Thank you for being here. This year's festival will once again fall during spring break for our local schools and the University of Texas, and that's a bit of a relief for our traffic systems, but we can still expect heavy traffic during the South by Southwest Festival Week. Like my colleagues Chief Chacon and Mr. Spiller have mentioned, public transit is a great alternative to driving in your own vehicle, and so we're encouraging everyone, including our guests, to consider these alternative options, including our bus and rail service. Because of the extra traffic we are expecting and the additional ridership, we are extending our Metro Rail operations. Rail service on Monday through Thursday will run until 12:30 a.m. and on Friday and Saturday it will run until 2:30 a.m. We will also offer Sunday rail service, which we typically do not, for the first weekend of the festival when the South by Southwest Interactive folks are here on March 13th. As for masks, we do remind everyone that public transit is still under TSA mandate to wear masks on board all of our vehicles, and so we do have limited numbers of masks available for people who've forgotten to bring one, but hopefully everyone is following the guidance of Austin Public Health and has their masks handy. For South by South customers or folks who may be trying our service for the first time, we will have ambassadors at our Metro rail stations to help answer questions. We'll also have a pop-up tent out by the convention so people understand what's going on. We have a beautiful downtown Metro rail station now that we didn't have the last South by Southwest, so we are better prepared than ever to serve our many customers. If you're interested in getting real-time information about bus routes, we encourage you to download the Cat Metro app in your App Store or Google Play Store. That will also allow you to buy a mobile ticket. And if you want route-specific information, you can sign up for our text alert system at catmetro.org/Metro Alerts. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to a great festival.
Okay, at this time, we will take some questions for these guys that are here behind us. If you will kindly, if you have a question, speak it into the microphone. And for the folks back here, if the question is germane, they'll just step up to the mic and answer for you.
I'll go, sorry, don't mean to jump again. This is probably a question for Chief Chacon. I just wanted to ask again if APD is preparing for any, I know we saw that batch of overdoses with xylazine last week. Is APD doing anything extra to prepare for possible overdoses at South by?
So all of our officers now are equipped with Narcan. And so, you know, what we're hopeful of is that we can get to, if we have a person that is experiencing a drug overdose, get to them quickly. I know that we will have what we call rescue task forces and quick reaction folks that will be deployed that can get around even with barricaded areas very quickly and be able to administer emergency medical services.
Did I hear when they were first announcing this particular segment that we had fewer people get permitted this year than last year for the Spring Festival?
Yes, that's correct. So last year, you know, South by was virtual, and so really looking back to 2020 would have been the last time that we were issuing a lot of special event permits. In 2020, we had about 190 during Spring Festival season, and this year, I think if I have my number right, it's 107. I have that in my remarks. So there are less permits this year. I think it's important to note that for businesses that already operate as a music venue, for example, they do not require special event permits. It's pretty difficult to say. It's, you know, different. It's difficult to say. Sort of across the board. I don't have anything too specific on that.
Is it maybe the residual from COVID and maybe the lack of being able to plan, or what are you all hearing or seeing?
It's tough for me to opine on it, but I would think that as we've been moving down to stage 2, there may be some businesses that were waiting to see what the pandemic situation would be like before they applied for special event permits.
Good morning, Carolina from Univision. This question is for Chief Chacon. I know the situation is a little different Southwest by Southwest than 6th Street, but any specific lessons that after the sad shooting that happened on 6th Street when people were hurt and murdered, is there anything that you're going to implement this year, or at least your agents, to be more specific? Anything specific they're going to try to do? Because at the end of the day, we're talking about mass gatherings, a lot of people crowded. If something happens, it could escalate.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll just tell you, for every South by Southwest, we staff them differently than a typical you know, weekend in the entertainment district. We bring in many specialized units that are working from our organized crime division on the things that I was talking about in the areas of gun violence, particularly in human trafficking, in narcotics trafficking, and those kind of things. So we will have a much larger presence in the downtown area than you would see on a normal weekend by quite a few officers. So we are anticipating slightly smaller you know, crowds for this South by Southwest. You just heard that the permitting is down somewhat, and really we're anticipating, we are anticipating very large crowds. We may have, just the normal crowds that come out for a weekend in the entertainment district that are joining the South by Southwest crowd, so that's just going to be more folks. But we also have more officers. And we're also partnering with Travis County and with DPS that are also providing resources for the festival, so there will be a healthy law enforcement presence downtown. I have not compared the numbers, but I know that we work very closely with Austin Center for Events to anticipate what those size crowds are going to look like, and then staff appropriately. I don't know that we have more barriers in place, but as we have a smaller number of sanctioned events that are happening, we may not need to close quite as many streets.
Talking about less permits, this is kind of directed toward you. Do you have any estimate on attendance this year specifically compared to 2019? And then I also wanted to ask you about any possible staffing or volunteer shortages you might be facing.
That question might be better suited to South by Southwest staff. I think Tammy here might be available to answer that for you.
Hi, Tammy Richter, Vice President of Event Operations for South by Southwest. As with most events that I've been planning for over the last year, there were a lot of unknowns as we started our badge sales and our credential sales. But as our situation has improved here in Austin, so have our sales as well. And so week over week, we're seeing increases in people wanting to come to Austin and attend South by Southwest. And so we will anticipate continuing to see more badge sales, and some of our biggest sales are actually our walk-up sales. So we are looking forward to almost a normal little hustle and bustle here in Austin for South by Southwest.
Specific numbers when it comes to attendance?
I don't, not off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
And then it's okay. Any staffing issues? I know a lot of industries are facing staffing shortages. Is South by experiencing the same thing?
We're not so much seeing staffing shortages. We are seeing some challenges as it relates to our volunteers, but we are making concessions, and we're moving people around, and we're working as a production company would, and moving people to where we need them and reallocating as we need. I would say we were down a few percentages, maybe in the 20-ish percentage rate. But like I said, a lot of the people that come to Austin for South by Southwest aren't necessarily, our registrants, although we have, a big contingency here that have come for our event. You have to remember that we also bring in a lot of people that just want to experience Austin during spring break and experience the energy that South by Southwest brings. We are still having our free events. So we have the outdoor stage at Lady Bird Lake. We have our wellness expo. We also have our flat stock expo that's at the convention center. We are maintaining all of our entry policies just as we would for any of our credentialed events. So vaccine or a test result will be needed to enter those. We are supporting that with testing centers at the convention center, as well as pop-ups at all of the free and open to the public events.
COVID related, but I know it's encouraged for festival goers to wear their mask for 2 more weeks because of the festival going into spring break.
Absolutely.
But it has to be a concern due to all these people in areas that aren't mask regulated that this possibly could lead us back into stage 3 or 4. Has that been a concern? Are there things being done?
When we planned our mitigation measures, we worked really closely with Austin Public Health and the City of Austin, and we planned for an event in a stage 5 situation. And although the situation has improved for our staging, which is wonderful for everybody that's attending South by Southwest and our visitors coming from out of town, we're going to stay the course with the mitigation measures that we were planning for in stage 5, which includes masking in all of our expos, all of our conference rooms, any of our City of Austin facilities. We'll be encouraging masking anywhere else. We will have a massive signage campaign to provide guidance that APH has put out over the years while we've been navigating this pandemic. We have the testing centers, and that is open to every participant of South by Southwest. So whether you're a vendor, you're a hotelier, you're one of our credential participants, staff, volunteers, everybody's welcome to use that testing center. We think it's going to be really important because there is going to be probably less masking out in the city, and we want people to be able to have these resources to, you know, mitigate the spread of COVID-19. All right, thank you.
Okay, I don't think we have any other questions. Going once. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being here with us in person today. We hope you have a safe spring festival season and have a great day.